Alrighty, what's up everybody? This is KāiKāi and I am back with part 2 of the Diamond Cutter Sutra, a commentary by Jokjen Master Kempo Sodarge. And today I am going to go through the preface with you and give you my thoughts on the preface, okay? So here we go. Many people fail to understand that all their sufferings come from various attachments. Clinging. A lot of the times it's mental or energetic clinging, habitual clinging. How to dispel this attachment? Dispel means to nullify the power of something, to make it ineffective. So how to dispel this attachment, how to let go of this attachment? The Buddha Dharma offers the most supreme pith instructions and skillful means for this. The Buddha Dharma is the truth that the Buddha taught, okay? And it's the teachings of the Buddha. And pith, P-I-T-H, it means very short and sweet, very short, sweet, and effective. The Buddha Dharma offers the most supreme pith instructions and skillful means for this, just a skillful method for doing it. In Buddhism, at least in the engaged Buddhism practice or tradition of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, he is always a big advocate for being skillful, right? In life, it's really important to operate with good intentions. Buddhists believe that as the intention is, so too will the result be. But also, it's very important to execute your good intentions with a very, very high skill level. And always find ways to communicate more effectively, to teach more effectively, to think, speak, and act more effectively and more skillfully. Okay, next line. With the Buddha Dharma, even though attachment remains, it is possible to get over difficulties more easily without going to extremes. Then the sky becomes more open and vast. So, at least I've noticed for myself a lot of times in life, it takes going to extremes for me to change, for me to learn. And basically with this teaching, and I think that goes for a lot of us too, but with this teaching, it shows you very clearly how, well, you'll gain an understanding of how karma really works. And you'll be able to see that, the input really does equal the output. The cause really does lead to a guaranteed, certain, and repeatable effect. So you'll be able to get over your difficulties a lot more easily without going to extremes, without having to hit rock bottom. And then this beautiful metaphor, the sky becomes more open and vast. It feels more expansive, you feel more free, you feel more light. And that's what I've experienced. So that's why I'm doing this commentary for you guys. Alrighty. The wisdom that cuts diamonds. The life of every individual is full of changes and fluctuations of happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. All these seem truly existent. But if you study the Diamond Cutter Sutra, you will realize that this is not the true essence of life. Life's essence lies only in cutting the attachment toward all phenomena and realizing that there has never been anything such as an I. So, in the Buddhist perspective, the essence of life and the goal of life is to see the truth of how reality works, to realize that there has never been anything such as an I, and there has actually never been any phenomenon in the truest sense. And let me clarify this because I know that sounds really, really mysterious. Basically, every single thing in life is our own concept. It's our own conceptualization. At least anything that can be spoken is our own concept. And why is this true? Well, what came first, human beings or human language? Human beings predate human language. So therefore, the entirety of the human language, I don't care what language it is, was a human invention. And words do not contain absolute truth whatsoever. All words are simply empty sounds that we use to refer to certain objects, feelings, and ideas and images. I think I said that. But basically, well, let me give you an example. So the word I, right? It refers to me in the English language, the noun identifier. But in Chinese, I, it means love. Okay, so what does it actually mean? What does that sound actually mean? Well, it means what we want it to mean. It means what we've assigned it to mean. Therefore, language is a relative tool, like a finger pointing to the moon, but it's not the moon itself. And it's totally arbitrary, which means it could be anything else. It was man-made. And as you can see, like I, it can mean the noun identifier. It can mean love. And it can mean so many other different things. This, I, and I. So like all of these words that we use and we use words in the way that we've been taught is this sound is this physical reality. And if you think a little bit, one, the sound is not the thing itself, right? It refers to the thing. It points at the thing. That's why it's a finger pointing at the thing. That's what all sounds are. But at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, they were just empty sounds, like a save slot for meaning, okay? So let me go here again. Life's essence in the Buddhist perspective lies only in cutting the attachment toward all phenomena, and it's our ideas of all phenomena. Phenomena is an idea. Phone is an idea. And it's also a physical reality, but the phone is only made of non-phone elements, okay? Like you got the screen, you got the electronics inside, you got the chips, you got the phone case, the speaker, and if we took away these elements from the phone, like the phone could not be. Same thing with the flower, right? A flower is only made of non-flower components. I think I already covered this, but if you look at it, like, really, like all things organic and inorganic, first off, on the linguistic layer, it's just a sound that points to the image or the thing. The thing also is not self-existent, right? It's made of a lot of different components that are not itself. And those things are made of things that are not itself as well. And the whole chain just goes back until you realize that language cannot fully grasp the true reality of anything. Well, it can be used to describe what is not. And that's what Buddhism does. Buddhism uses language to say, this is not reality. This is cannot be considered to be true either. This cannot be considered to be true either. And at the end of the day, when you're able to let go of all language, then you're in the experience of oneness at the deepest level. You're here. You realize that there is no separation whatsoever. And that is the goal, the ultimate goal of Buddhism, to awaken from our illusion of separateness. That's what Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh said. He said, we are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness, or the illusion of separateness. I don't even want to attribute separateness to our. So, yeah. All right, I hope you got that. I know that was like a spew of a lot of stuff. If you need additional clarification, just hit me up. I'm happy to explain it to you. 818-519-5248. That's my number. Or email me, billionsofbuddhas@gmail.com, because I might be in China. Okay. So, let's keep going. I'll say the line one more time. Life's essence lies only in cutting the attachment toward all phenomena, in realizing that there has never been anything such as an I. Just basically saying there is no I that can be found that exists in a vacuum, that has always been that I, that will eternally be that I. It's just impossible, because language began when humanity began, and language will end when humans end. I hope humans keep going on for a long time. Alrighty, next up. Attachment is the only root cause of all our suffering. Attachment is the only root cause of all our suffering. So, Buddhism is all about the minimization and the elimination of suffering. And here, it's a great lesson to learn that attachment is actually the root cause of all of our suffering. Even if our attachment is as small as the tip of a needle, it can still cause us unending distress. No matter what you are attached to, once you get it, you are afraid of losing it. Once you do lose it, your heart is broken. If there were no attachment, then what suffering would you have? Okay? Now, I think something that's really important to note is that you can still enjoy life. You can still fully participate in life, but just realize that the nature of things is transient, you know? Do your best, stack the odds in your favor, play the game, and learn to let go, because things are always changing, things are always in flux. With every thought that we exchange, we're one thought different than we were before, and if we can change, then what is I? What is the we? If change is possible, then is there an eternal I? And change basically disproves that concept, the truth of change. The only constant is change, but even change is a concept. It's a man-made word, which ultimately is an empty sound that we've programmed with a specific meaning. Okay. I think I'm doing pretty good. I was a little nervous at the beginning of this. Okay. Next up. Whether Buddhist or not, many people like to say they are giving up attachment and that they have come to think that all phenomena are emptiness, so there is no need to attach to vice or virtue. Since they are unable to discern, unable to see clearly what to adopt and what to abandon, they behave unscrupulously, which means they behave without ethics. They behave immorally. They don't do the right things. Ironically, when they fall into this trap, they end up with the worst attachment, the horrendous attachment to emptiness. Now, I'm quite sure that they're saying the horrendous attachment to the mistaken idea of emptiness as nothingness. A lot of people, when they learn about emptiness, they don't get it right. They take a nihilistic route. But look, like the word emptiness, the word nothingness and the word emptiness, they both exist. Everything, conceptually, it appears, right? We can engage with it. It's just that our ideas about the things that we're engaging with may not be fully correct. Like when we see the image of the setting sun, are we actually seeing it as it is? Or are we seeing the after image of it, 8 minutes, and it's already set? Alrighty, let's keep going on. So yeah, do not attach to the idea of nothingness. That is absolutely not what emptiness means. The Buddha taught this seemingly paradoxical truth. It is better to have attachment as gigantic as Mount Meru. It's like the mythological highest mountain in Buddhist cosmology, in the Buddhist world. Gigantic as Mount Meru. You can think of it as like the Mount Everest of Buddhism. As gigantic as Mount Meru to existence. All right, let me start from the beginning. It is the Buddha taught this seemingly paradoxical truth. It is better to have attachment as gigantic as Mount Meru to existence than attachment as tiny as a mustard seed to non-existence. Okay, see? It is the mistaken understanding of emptiness as nothingness. Some people, when they study the Diamond Cutter Sutra, they equate the two. They're not the same whatsoever. Nothingness is saying that, like, things are non-existent. Basically, like, they're saying that things persist in a non-existent state, which is totally impossible. Because for something to persist, there must be a thing to persist in the non-existent state. So non-existence is totally false, completely false. Logically, it doesn't make sense either. And experientially, obviously, like, we're experiencing things. So, yeah, just let go of the idea of non-existence, right? We can't destroy even a single atom. Like, we can't even, like, fully annihilate a single atom into non-existence. It's not even possible, as far as I know. Okay, but if you do know, happy to chat about it. Sounds cool. So, how do we destroy attachment appropriately without being led astray? The Diamond Cutter Sutra explains that although at the ultimate level, nothing exists. So, when they say that nothing exists, it is a negation of the concept of pure existence. Okay, it's a negation of the idea of pure existence. And pure existence is saying, I exist in a vacuum, separate from everything else. I am only me, nothing else, pure me, and nothing can influence me, and I will never change. But, like, that's just not how the experience of life plays out, right? Like, you can tell from your experience that things change. Our appearance changes. Our height changes. Our width sometimes changes. My dad, he says something funny. He's like, I'm a growing boy. I'm growing sideways. I was like, damn, bro. Anyways, so the Diamond Cutter Sutra explains that although at the ultimate level nothing exists, nothing can be said to exist or persist in that vacuum I am me state. So it's a negation of the concept of existence. It is not an assertion of the concept of non-existence, okay? I think that is a groundbreaking. That's a breakthrough right there in this text. Like, that is good to know. Like, just know that negating A does not mean that I am asserting anti-A. It's not necessarily that, okay? Not, okay? So negating the concept of existence is not asserting the concept of non-existence, okay? Okay, cool. I'm sure we'll get deeper into that later. Let me go back. The Diamond Cutter Sutra explains that although at the ultimate level nothing exists, nothing can be said to exist in that permanent state, and even the concepts of vice and virtue are indeed just another attachment, nevertheless, at the conventional level, all phenomena still appear, and in that dreamlike, illusory reality, the law of cause and effect is inerrant. Okay, what does that all mean? Okay, even the concepts of vice and virtue are indeed just another attachment. I think you can get that. The vice and virtue are both words that are sounds that point at certain ideas, right? And these ideas are subject to change. These ideas were not always existent. Nevertheless, and if they were not always existent, then did they ever truly exist? That's a good question. Nevertheless, at the conventional level, which is just like daily life, essentially, all phenomena still appear. And in that dreamlike, illusory reality, just our living experience of life, the law of cause and effect is inerrant. Inerrant means absolute. It works absolutely. It's true. It's reliable. So, if we do not want to suffer at the relative level, we have to give up vice and adopt virtue. We have to give up our wrongdoings and do all good things. We have to let go of all negative karma, purify it, and cultivate all good karma. Before recognizing the nature of mind, we must hold on to things that are virtuous and right. Like a boat, they can help us cross a river. So until we reach the other shore, it makes no sense to give them up. Otherwise, if we throw away the boat in the middle of the river, what is going to happen if it's a big, strong, fast-flowing river? Well, if you're in a boat, you probably need it. The answer is obvious. So one thing that's really important is the ultimate truth and relative truth, like the ultimate and the relative. This is a common dichotomy, the ultimate and the conventional. This is all like, it's a very, very, commonly heard of dichotomy in Buddhism. But what's important to realize and to know, if you don't understand it yet, is that understanding of the ultimate will actually help you optimize your life in the conventional. Because if you can truly understand that I am empty of a separate self, then you'll realize the incredible impact that you can have, that you do have on everybody else, right? It's an infinite butterfly effect. And we're all either uplifting the world or bringing everybody down with the ways that we think, speak, and act in the world. Like, even in the flower, right? I always love going back to the flower example. Like, in the flower, it's only made of non-flower components. You can see the rain, the soil, the sunlight, and it's the same with us, right? Like, I am only made of non-I components. I'm made of this coffee that I'm about to drink, right? And if this coffee gives me more energy, then I'm able to deliver a better talk to you guys. So, like, all of it is totally interconnected, and realizing the truth of emptiness actually allows you to realize, wow, I am so interconnected with everybody else. It's insane. And I really want to do my best, now that I know that we're all so connected, to love on myself and love on others and bring more love into this world, because it really does matter. You really do matter, okay? So that is that. Let me keep going. Even if you do not understand the meaning of this sutra, its blessings and benefits are there. When hardship, illness, or misfortune befall you, just transcribing, which means copying it down by hand, I think, or chanting this sutra once can help immensely. Merely keeping a copy of this sutra in your house or carrying one around with you can pacify all sorts of calamities. You can mitigate all sorts of disasters and bring immense auspiciousness. Auspiciousness means good fortune, means luck. Just like a Buddha stupa. A stupa is like a little Buddhist monument, or like a little tower or something. By all accounts, the merit of the Diamond Cutter Sutra is inconceivable. You can't even imagine how good this is for you, learning these concepts. People who are fortunate enough to see it, hear it, or touch it will swiftly cut off the root of suffering and reach the other shore of everlasting peace and happiness. That is what I wish for you. That's what I wish for me. That's what I wish for all of us. And that's what I see as the highest human potential. That's why I started this channel, Billions of Buddhas, because I believe that we are all billions of Buddhas. We just need to awaken them. It works for everyone, no matter whether you believe in Buddhism or not. Sadarge Larungar Surtar. Just a quick closing note. They say that even if you do not understand the meaning of this sutra, its blessings and benefits are there. Why is that? One thing is because when we're taking in information, seeds are always being planted, and I truly believe that everybody has an inner Buddha within them, and we all have the Buddha nature inside of us, that center of peace, of compassion, of joy, of love for humanity and self and others and everybody and all beings in our planet. And even if you don't understand it yet, you will understand it in the future. The seeds are being planted, so the benefit will come. And then the last thing, whether it works for everyone, no matter whether you believe in Buddhism or not. What's really cool about the teaching of the Diamond Cutter Sutra, it's more of a lecture on linguistics, actually. It's not even like Buddhist, like in terms of the traditional sense. Like it's more of like a super high level linguistics masterclass that actually aligns with how reality actually is. A lot of people, we've been trained, and I have been trained, to use language as an anchor of identity. Now, what does that mean, right? Our names, Like we take it as us, right? But I'm now realizing that my life journey is uniquely suited for understanding the Diamond Sutra and teaching it to all of you. For instance, I was born with the birth name Yuan Yu Feng, but everybody called me KāiKāi. That was my nickname growing up. And then when I came to the US, I think I became Yufeng Yuan, but I barely used that. I don't even really remember that. And then everybody started calling me Kai Convery, okay? And I went as that for like 25 years. And now what I'm realizing is that all of these names, they can't be said to truly be me, okay? I am not my name. My name is just a sound that puts me in a certain identity, which is, and that identity is comprised of a collection of ideas, stories, and experiences about who I think I am, due to my own thoughts and my reflections on how others have treated me throughout the years. It's a compilation of ideas of who we think we are. That's what ego is, right? The ego is a collection of ideas about who we think we are. But what's really cool about the Diamond Sutra is it shows us that, hey, like, we are not our names. We are not any of the words that we use to describe each other. And yeah, it's a really cool, very profound teaching that gives ultimate level freedom. Because once you realize that none of this can actually be said to be me, eternally me, existing in a vacuum, non-changing, then you'll take ultimate responsibility for your life. That being said, I'm learning to balance this with certain like realities of the human experience, right? We still have a biological system. So previously, I had been on a journey where I started using Yuan Yu Feng more in my life. I actually met an amazing physical therapist named Dan Kinney out here in Thousand Oaks. And Dan specializes in posture correction. And he he used to work with Olympian athletes. And I met Dan at my buddy Carl's water shop, which is now closed, unfortunately. But Dan and I connected, and he gave me a free posture correction session. And after I stood up from his table, I felt this whoosh, this primal rush of energy just shoot up my spine. And there was a voice in my head that started saying, Yuan Yu Feng, Yuan Yu Feng, Yuan Yu Feng. And I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, I haven't used this name since I came to the US at age 6. So I started relearning Chinese, and I realized there were certain energetic patterns, thought habits, ideas, clingings that had still persisted from when I was 6 years old, and I suddenly stopped speaking Chinese. So I went back in and I started reprogramming those thoughts, shifting them to the positive, and I saw incredible changes in my life. I'll be super transparent with everybody here. This was profound, right? So I used to struggle a lot with pornography. And there was one time where I really did not want to watch it, okay? And I was using English, like, don't watch it, don't watch it, don't watch it. But I kept seeing my hand move towards the computer. I'm like, what is going on? This was after I had learned about the Chinese thing. So I suddenly switched to Chinese in my mind, and I realized the Chinese energy that was generated, there was energy and language saying, do it, watch it. And it aligned with how my hand was moving. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is mind-blowing. So since then, I went back to China. I've been relearning Chinese, and it's been incredible for my mental health, for my physical health, for my financial success, for everything, for self-esteem, for self-confidence, self-awareness, balance, energy. Like, literally everything is getting so much better. And recently, I came to another amazing realization after a great podcast with my friend Laura St. John, where I realized that even Yuan Yu Feng, this part of me that I had been embodying for the past 6 months to a year while relearning Chinese, that's not what I feel the deepest, like what feels most compatible, because there is conditioning. It does have power, right? Cause and effect is inerrant. It works, right? And the human system also feels a certain way. And when I was young, from birth to like 6 years old, everybody called me KāiKāi, KāiKāi. That was my nickname. And it was the name that my grandparents, who raised me until I was 6, used. It's a name that makes me feel safe. And Yuan Yu Feng felt more like an armor. It was like I was trying to reclaim this side of myself, this masculine lineage. And it felt hard. It felt difficult. It felt like almost unnatural. And Kai also does feel like a bit unnatural, because I remember when I was young, I was like, who's Kai? Like, who is Kai? Like, because Kai and KāiKāi, they're totally different sounds, okay? Chinese is a tonal language. KāiKāi is the first tone. Kai is like atonal. And I honestly did not know who Kai was. Like, I'm like, who's Kai? And I kind of felt like a chameleon for a bit. And I've had a long and, difficult journey with my identity, with, masculinity, because, I mean, if you get your identity removed and your language, your culture, it's like, what else is there to a person, right? Especially to a man. What can you take pride in? What can you stand in? And it's something that I've had to relearn as I go on this journey. So it's been very interesting, but what I'm learning is like, yes, the ultimate truth is true. Like, you can see even all these words that we use, they're made up of their own components. They have their own causes and conditions that have led them to be the way that they are. But, these things that we see, they won't stay the way they are always. Things are always changing. And long story short, like, I've realized that, KāiKāi still feels better. It feels more like my inner child, and I'm using it, and it creates a different effect than if I used Yuan Yu Feng as my dominant identity and regarded that as myself. Or if I use Kai Convert, it creates a different effect. So it's very interesting to explore these Buddhist philosophies while living them out in real life. But anyways, that was the preface of the Diamond Cutter Sutra. It's unbelievable that I spoke that much. The preface is literally 2 pages. That's it. But I spoke for 32 minutes and 36 seconds. That is insane. Oh my goodness. Well, anyways, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this talk. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you. If you didn't, I totally understand. That's a crazy long time to talk about 2 pages. But anyways, sending you a lot of love. This is KāiKāi. I'm using it because it makes me feel like my inner child. And I hope you have a fantastic now. Sending so much love and joy, compassion, patience. And I hope, may you be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's a nice one that I came up with. Alrighty. Anyways, KāiKāi out. I'll catch you later. Peace.